Yes.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 15th episode of Experience Matters at Engineered Learnings. And today, once again, we have our guest of honor with us, a very, very interesting one this time, Ronit Jaiswal with us, joining directly from HSBC. He's currently working in the markets division of HSBC, and he has done his MBA IB from MDI Gurgaon, a thing that many of you have been talking about, and I have been receiving a lot of calls and messages that MBA IB course के बारे में कुछ बता दो, but I am not the right person because I have not been exposed to it or I have not heard much about it from people. But today we have the horse with us so that we can hear it from the horse's mouth, who has done the course himself. He will be the perfect person to guide you through the MBA IB course, and we are going to go into the nitty-gritties of it. And previous to joining MBA IB course, let me tell you that he has 4 years of experience with some popular companies, post which he has decided to go for MBA IB. So there is something about it which is really going to be interesting. So handing over the baton straight away to Ronit. Ronit, how are you? How are you doing?
First of all, thank you for a great welcome. And I'm doing good. I just joined my company 2 days back, HSBC. So, if you, as you can see from the background, I'm sitting in the company provided hotel right now.
Great,
So,
great.
fresh start, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. And all the very best for your journey. It's a great start. It's the corporate culture that you are imbibing into, and you will obviously have a ball of a time there. So let us talk about MBA IB. Let's go straight away to the topic. MBA IB is a course that many people are aware of. Many people are not aware of. For both the cadres, I want you to clarify what is MBA IB all about, the course structure, the fees, the placement scenario, other interesting things like the batch strength, the pedagogy there, how do things work, a little bit brief here and there, and then we will cover in details the subsections that people are really interested to know about, right? The placements, the international part of it. So overall brief, what is MBIB all about? And the batch strength, the fees, the placement, the average salary, a little bit about here and there.
Okay, so basically, MDI IB course is a dual degree course in which you will spend around 9 months in India and 1 year in Europe. And you will be getting a dual degree, one PGDM degree from India and another one that is Masters in Management MIM degree from EACP Business School. So the batch size is currently around 120 students, and the fees is around 30 lakhs, which does not include the stay in Europe. So if you take Europe into consideration as well, the general cost, if you exclude London, I lived in Paris and Madrid campus, so it was mostly around 800 euros per month for me. So if over and all, if you add everything, you can add maybe a 10 lakh extra on top of it. So you can complete your full course in a budget of around 40 lakhs. And for personally, I think it's a very good course in which you will get a very good global exposure. You get to intern outside India. I personally interned in SCOR in France in the Paris headquarters. So you see a very fancy office located in a very fancy location, plus the culture because it's very different what we are expecting in India. The HR in the first day, they are telling me that after 7 hours, you're not supposed to stay in office, be it any reason. So, so it's kind of funny as well, but yeah, that's all about it. And again, the kind of exposure and learning that you get in ESCP Business School, the type of subjects that there are offered in those campuses is very different as we compare it to India. So yeah, that's a brief of the course. Uh,
Great, Ronit. I hear you saying that the fees is around 30 odd lakhs plus a 10 lakhs for a stay in Europe. If you avoid London in specific, you get an exposure and a dual degree. If I have to summarize,
yes,
MIM degree and a PGDIM degree as from MDI Gurgaon, and ESCP say MIM degree as you told. And the exposure, the kind of internships that you bank in, and the office culture and the peoples that you are exposed to, and the course structure in ESCP. We will further talk on it in details, in our subsequent questions. But what I hear you saying is it's quite interesting, and you personally had a ball of a time, right? Let me
yes.
go straight away to the placement, because that is the most intriguing and interesting thing. मेरे को नहीं पता कि क्या ये है, क्यों इतना क्रेज है प्लेसमेंट को लेके. लर्निंग पे उतनी बात नहीं होती है, but placement is something that intrigues most of the MBA people, right? And let's be honest with it is what it is, right? We can't change much about it.
Yes.
तो प्लेसमेंट पे चले जाते हैं, प्लेसमेंट पे सीधा आते हैं. किस टाइप की कंपनीज आती है, प्लेसमेंट का प्रोसीजर क्या रहता है, एमडीआई गुड़गांव के रेगुलर प्लेसमेंट प्रोसीजर से कितना सिमिलर रहता है? इफ यू कैन जस्ट गिव अ ब्रीफ ऑफ what all happens in the placement pertaining particular thing. What is the average package
Okay,
around, and all of that?
so do you want me to cover the internship section as well, or just the final
Yeah,
placements?
a brief on that would be good, and more or less final and the internship part of it as well.
Okay, so the internship section is basically for IB people, we have to find the internship on your own, on our own. So basically, there were people who were interning with very big companies such as Amazon, Nestle, L'Oreal in Paris, Luxembourg, Germany, and spread across all the locations, even in London as well. I think some people even converted their internship into PPO. So there's my friend, he converted Amazon UK. He's earning more than 1 crore if you convert it into Indian rupees. You see the opportunity that we have is good, but on the other side, on the other hand, we have to apply on our own. There is no college support. Plus, there is language issue, especially in France and Spain. So you may have to apply for 500 location. I have personally done it so, and there are chances that you even after that you won't be able to secure an internship. I think if you take a very conservative figure, I would say around 10% of the batch generally they are not able to secure their internship in Europe, and they end up finding some internship in India, doing it remotely, or they go back to India. Depends on them entirely. And coming back to the final placements, the cycle generally starts around maybe November end, and the initial companies they do conduct the processes online. So even if you are in your one of the ESCP campus studying there, so you generally don't miss out on those opportunities. And overall, through my experience, I would say there were maybe one or two companies at max who did not allow people to sit maybe online, and they're not considering IB because as per them they are not the flagship course in MDI. So that's the two thing that is on the con side. But other than that, it do not impact anything. The timeline is I mean, similar to PGDM. Everyone sits for at the same time for the same company, same opportunity. There's no differentiation when it comes to the courses or the people.
Great, great, Ronit.
And if
So,
you
yeah.
want to give me the numbers, oh,
Mhm.
sorry.
Yeah, sure,
Uh,
sure.
and,
Go ahead.
and see, this year the numbers were very bad actually. Due to
Mhm.
obvious reasons, the whole market scenario is bad.
Yes, yes,
So
everywhere.
PGDM have a slightly better number when compared to IB because there are some companies who come specifically in summers. Yeah, that's another demerit, I would say. For example, some IB firms, if you want to take a name, then I would say Goldman Sachs. So they come specifically in summers. They don't come for the final
Mhm.
placements. So if you are planning to go into that company, you might miss out directly. And yeah, that's another con for the IB part. And I think in general, because of these factors, the people who got their PPO, they were lucky ones because the market scenario at that time was good, and this time it's not that great. So if you talk about the median package, it was 26 lakhs for PGDM, and for IB it was 22 lakhs. But this is not including, I mean, I think the 1 crore package, if you include the median, I think the average will go up for sure. But yeah,
Yeah.
and this number is actually true because
Mhm.
the student body has, again, it's not given by the college. We have verified the
It's not
same.
inflated.
So we
So
know
you
this
say
is
the
the correct figure.
real figure is 22
Yes.
for IB and 25 for MBA, if I hear you correctly, like PGDA,
26 for
26 for
PGDM.
PGDA.
And this is the median salary. The average will be 1 or 2 lakh more.
Correct, obviously, but the median gives you a fair idea of where you stand, right? So, fair
Yeah,
enough.
yes.
What I hear you saying, three disadvantages, as you clearly pointed out. One is you miss out on the companies which only come for hiring and then offer out a PPO because you don't appear for the summers
Yes.
program, so you miss out on those. As an example, you said Goldman Sachs being one of them. Second, I hear you that some of the companies, a few, like one, two, or three companies, may bar you from the process, may not let the IB people sit because they don't feel that that is the flagship course for MDI Gurgaon for their own reasons, whatever be it. That there you miss out on two, three companies. What you also miss out on is placement opportunities by the college itself in your summers. You have to find your own internship. And there you might miss out, like 10% of the batch didn't get placed in summer internships directly from Europe. They had to bank Indian offers. But what I also hear you saying is it is a great learning opportunity, because then you go, you prepare your profile, you approach companies, you go into job fairs, you strive hard, you apply for some 500, 600 companies, and you get selected in one of them. You get exposed to the culture and how it works. So it's a real-time exposure where nothing is served on your platter, but you have to go there and collect your own food. So that is what I hear you saying, and that's a different kind of an exposure altogether, I believe. Correct, no?
True. And just to add a cherry on the top,
Mm.
you get a very good amount of money in Europe. So
Absolutely.
I guess you may be
Mm.
on a conservative figure, will be able to get around 6 to 7 lakhs from your internship for 4 months. And because of that, you will be able to, if you don't want to travel, it's okay. Then your 40 lakh cost will come by down by another 6 lakh. But if you
Mm-hmm.
want to travel, this is a very good amount of money that you can use to travel across the Europe.
Correct.
Most of us have done the same.
Correct.
Yes.
So excellent. Yeah, 6, 7 lakhs in India is like a dream come true. It's not even offered in India in most of the colleges, but 6, 7 lakhs there is something that is normalized, I would say, on a conservative figure, as you say. So great.
Yes.
And if you convert a PPO, even offers can go up to 1 crore, as you told an
Yes.
example of one of your friends. So very, very encouraging, very, very motivating. Now let's come to straight away the point, right? How rigorous or interesting did you find the course? You have done the whole course by now. What is the rigor there? Because generally we hear that MBA courses are very rigorous. What is the amount of rigor that you find there? And also how interesting it is to go outside and study. And where do you think like this course is in comparison to the flagship PGDM course that MDI Gurgaon has? Because let's keep it black and white. Let's keep it simple. People want to know MDI का PGDM course भी है, MDI का IB course भी है. How do the two compare? And what is the rigor and the interesting part about the IB over or below PGDM flagship?
So I think let's talk about the rigor first, because the initial 2 months they are super hectic. So we often hear that people saying we have the MBA first year is very hectic. We have 5, 6 subjects, and along with this we have CNCs, case comms, etc. But if you talk IB, for example, in the first semester we had 11 subjects, and in the second semester we have another 12 subjects, and the credit was around 33 credits in a single semester. So you can imagine how difficult it was. I mean, even in Sunday morning 8:30 I was attending the classes in the morning, management control. So I think this is not something that I expected initially. You won't even get time to sleep, or there were so many assignments, so many things to done, because your visa processes will be going on simultaneously. You will be applying your internship while sitting in India. You see, everything is going on at the same time. So it's very, very, very hectic. If you think a normal MBA is hectic, this is 1.5 times more hectic in the initial 2 months. But once you go to Europe, uh, things get pretty chilled out, because the classes are not that much. You get back to the normal MBA fold where you'll have 5, 6 subjects, and the classes are very flexible. You can take as per your own schedule. If you, for example, if you are in a free track, there are some 20, 25 subjects in which you are free to choose whichever you want to study. And out of that, you take according to your schedule. For example, you don't want to go to colleges on Monday and Tuesday. You only take subjects for Wednesday, Thursday, and you leave all the Friday, Monday, Saturday, Sunday, and Tuesday available so that you can travel. So you can do that as well. It all depends on you. And the general classes that runs in Europe is for around 3 hours continuous. So it's kind of very different, and the kind of method that they use, even though mostly subjects were case-based method as well, but they interact a lot when it comes to having activities. For example, I had a negotiation subject. They don't give any cases or any uh, kitabi gyan. They simply ask us, okay, this is your script. You are performing a role. The other person is performing some different role. So it's more of a theater kind of thing that is happening around. And there were some interesting courses like entrepreneurship that I personally took. So in this particular course, you have to build your startup right from scratch. So throughout the 3 month, I was pitching my startup ideas to startup founders. They were angel investors, seed funders. Everyone was coming on a guest lecture. All the big CXOs of companies, they are all coming. They're reviewing our idea, because it was on social lines, social entrepreneurship. And a lot of pitching. There were theater artists coming us to teach about the body language that we should use when we are pitching it in front of audience. And then in the final ones, they are actually having a jury day in which they're evaluating teams who are making it to the final, and they're basically offering them if they want to get a funding from them, or they want to join an incubation program. For example, Bosch, I think last year someone got an offer from Bosch in which they are offering them to be a part of the company and start this same project under their umbrella. So that's the kind of thing that we can expect there in IB course. And after coming back to India, I think I realized that okay, if I would have spent 2 years in MDI PGDM course, I would have got bored a lot, because at after some point of time you get bored in your campus. You don't have anything to do. So
Excellent,
that's I
excellent.
think that would summarize my
Very, very interesting.
academics.
The perfect example of rigor and interesting part and comparison to PGDIM course, like the regular monotonous rigor compared to a rigor which you actually enjoy when you were explaining the entire journey. Because I am
Yes.
personally very enthusiastic. I'm a personal enthusiast about startups and entrepreneurship as a space. I was finding it very interesting when you were sharing your experience that you get to pitch your idea in front of startup founders and you get to know लाइक कितने चावल में कितना दाना है वो पता चलता है, कितना दूध है और कितना पानी है वहां पे पता चलता है, लाइक हाउ मच यू आर रियली केपेबल ऑफ एंड व्हाट makes that cut, what makes that difference, right? That you get to learn from the big startup founders that you find in Europe and UK and all of that, right? So very, very good exposure. uh,
I think yes, I think there was I think the person who started Apple iTunes, he personally came to our class to give a guest lecture.
great, great.
So he was the one who started iTunes. He was the head of all Europe and UK division.
That's that that's
So we were
how.
meeting a lot of good people.
Yeah, yeah, that's the exposure that you get in IB course, and it's fantastic. It's always good to talk to these people. Now let's come to straight away to the interesting and the most asked part of it. 40 lakh rupees. It's not a matter of joke. In Indian context, if you see 40 lakhs is not something that I don't know about you. Maybe I will not be able to spare right away. मतलब किसी किसी की lifetime savings होती है 40 lakh rupees in Indian context per se. Uh, how do you justify when you say a 22 lakh ka median? I am expecting somebody who is getting a median at IB course. 22 lakh ka median compared to a 40 lakh ki fees, not even a 1 ka ROI. How do you really go around and justify this? Like, I want you to be a defender in case I want you to speak in favor of the IB course and give me a defense which kind of justifies the ROI compared to the Indian context of 40 lakh rupees.
So I'll tell you that I'm from a Bania family first of all. So even before spending money, I'm very curious and very satark wherever it comes to spending money. So during my time, my whole the fees was around 27.5 lakhs. I almost completed my entire course in 31, 32 lakhs if you take the internship money as well. So, and if I take example of my current job, I think I'm quite happy with it because the kind of role that I got. And if I had the other options that I had in my hand, for example, the baby IIMs or new IIMs, or even IIM Lucknow Sustainability Management, if I would have gone to those colleges, there's no chance that I'll get these roles, because even I'm seeing the people who are joining and the kind of roles that I'm getting. Even they are joining, people from other colleges are joining HSBC, but they're not in the roles that are being offered to tier one colleges. So that's a very big differentiator in the first place. Plus, ROI is a concept altogether that I never believed in, to be honest, because I think when you're looking into something on a very long term perspective, even my 80-year old grandfather, he keeps telling me that don't consider right now. Consider the age at which you are retiring. Maybe 40 lakh is something that you will be making in a month. You'll be in some CXO level and earning in crores. So 40 lakhs is something that you'll be earning in months. So it won't matter to you anyway. So don't even consider ROI. If you think this is going to give you money, good designation, good profile in future, and you think you'll be able to make the most out of it, then initial salary doesn't matter. And I personally, I can say that there are people who got less salaries in IB, but it doesn't make them any kind of loser, because you never know after 2 years what's going to happen. They might build their own startup, or they might get a very big jump. It's all about the sector they are going in. So initial salary is something, again, I won't stress too much about it. If I'm getting it, very good, but not a very big make or break deal for me. And I think if you take any college, for example, be it IIM Ahmedabad or Bangalore, I think there are people, even if you see that 30 lakhs is something that is maybe the average or median salary. My uncle, he passed out from IIM Bangalore 10 years ago. He's a country manager of Abbott, and he goes to when he was in striker last time, he used to go to IIM Ahmedabad to recruit, and they offer 18 CTC in Ahmedabad, and people do join. It all depends on the industry that you're working in. IT companies and even consulting companies make the figures look inflated, but this is a truth that people end up getting 15 lakh fixed in Ahmedabad as well. You cannot even deny, or even in MDI Gurgaon for that case. I have seen people who are getting the fixed pay as low as 12 as well.
Fair point. I think very well put forward, and solid defense, I would say. Long term is what you should think of. Maybe your 1 month salary will be enough to pay off this 40 lakh rupees that you are concerned about now. But if you don't take the leap of faith, and if you settle for anything lesser now, maybe your long term journey will get affected to the greater extent. And starting salary, as you say, doesn't really matter. You don't know the exposure, the learning that you gather in these 2 years, as you said correctly, matters a lot. I am not personally a great advocate of spending 40 lakh rupees in favor of MBA, but when I hear these arguments, it makes absolute sense to me that why one should, if they can, because it really makes sense, the kind of exposure that you have been talking around, right? The meeting with startup founders, the kind of courses, and we have not even gone to that part. We will now move to that part, because my next question will be up for that bit, and we will understand more about the international immersion program. But what I hear you saying, there is a lot of exposure, there is a lot of learning, which you cannot really, do a like for like comparison in terms of money to that learning, because that is much more valuable, right? And you also say that there are not not negligible cases in case of in lower salaries in popular courses where pay higher fees, like IIM Ahmedabad being a classic example. They are also taking a very big fees, and they're promising a good salary, but some of them end up with 15 lakh, 18 lakh a salary as well. And as you say, MDI Gurgaon में भी same situation है. तो ऐसा नहीं है कि सिर्फ IB में है तो वहां पे पैसे डाल रहे हो, नहीं है. और जगह पे भी वो skewed हो सकता है, दूसरी जगह पे भी
Yes.
actually कम हो सकता है. What I hear you say. So
Yes.
that is a good part.
And this year
Now
the
I would,
market is bad.
yes,
So
absolutely.
that's why I'm considering the worst case scenario. In good times, obviously you can consider the median average to go up,
Correct.
and even the bottom of
Mm-hmm.
the pyramid, even they will be getting a better salary as compared to this year for
Absolutely.
sure. So
Absolutely.
this is the worst
Absolutely.
case scenario for
Our
everyone who's listening to
market
the
is
video.
really bad. I would say as bad as the COVID times. Just after COVID,
Yes.
the market was, and it crashed suddenly. But take, nevertheless, it is expected to recover. Which takes me to my, again, one more question. That what about your international journey, right? Tell us more about it. What was the exposure? What was the code structure, right? How did you enjoy the course there? One of the instances that you shared, I want you to share some fringes out there. How to build the networks? How to get the internships there? That you said, I applied to so many processes. Is it that open? How do you build the networks? And how does that entire process shape you as a person? The person you are right now, the Ronit I see.
Mhm.
How different is that Ronit before going into the MBA IB course? What has changed? How has that shaped you as a person?
So I think finding an internship itself is a very difficult job. First of all, there are some portals, for example LinkedIn, everyone knows, but there are other portals, for example job teaser, in which companies, they do have their job fairs, and they have a tie up with ESCP for, and ESCP as a brand is too big in France. For example, when you apply in India, you see only IT and IIM graduates or MDI SP Gen can apply, and in Paris, you will see only ESCP, ESEC, and HEC, the three colleges. Only three colleges people can apply for the job. So that's the kind of level that this college have in France. So you get a very big edge that you are from a very good college. Plus, people are already, mostly the HRs, they know that there are people from India who come every year and they apply for internship because the number is good. And even they know that people in India, they are very good in maths, they're good in handling data, and they're very good in tech. So if there is any role who is into slightly into these parts, my number was mostly into data and numbers or mostly finance. So I was able to secure it in a fairly easy way in reinsurance industry. Plus I had this experience. So you kind of have this edge. Plus there are some physical job fairs as well. For example, in the auditorium, a lot of companies will have their stalls. You simply carry your resume. It has a photo of you as well. The format is quite different as we have in India. You take it, you talk to the companies, you tell your, I mean, the roles that you're looking for, what are your previous background, you hand over the resume. And if at times what I have seen is they tell you their phone number or LinkedIn ID or even personal email ID, and they tell us, okay, how about you write a mail tomorrow and I'll see what I can do. So there were people who were they got good internship because of that. And about the networking part, again, it's not just restricted to the companies, it's in the class as well. Because if you take a common class with 30 students, there will be around 5 Indians, 10 French people, 5 Italian, some 3 4 from UK, and the rest from China or other Asian countries. So there's a kind of mix, and everything that you do is in groups. You will form a group. So in my personal group, I think in ESCP, for every subject, you have a different group. So at times I have someone from UK, France, China, and India. You see the kind of people there are over there. Plus this whole process, be it internship or in the class, you see the way Indian mind works. It's very different from how they work. We only think about, in general, Indians, they think about money and profit and margins. But when you talk about people who are French, they talk about art for sure and music for sure, which I personally was not able to relate. Then there are people from China who are too much into tech. I was surprised, but yes, they are quite too much into tech. Then there were Italians who were very good in numbers as well. I mean, in my team, there was a girl she came for her exchange to IIM Ahmedabad, and she was the one handling the financial part of the project. So you see, there's a very diverse culture. You get to interact with them, you get to network, you get to hang out with them, and even there at times, I think I reached out to my friend in order to get a referral from my friend. She was working in Chanel, and I spoke to her if she can share her resume so that I'll get to know how French people apply in those companies. And she agreed to share her resume, and even she agreed to refer my friend to the company. Eventually, he did not convert because of language issue, but it was a very good, I mean, networking opportunity. And I think we get to explore a lot of people, a lot of culture, even while giving interviews as well. So I think
Great.
uh, initially when you start, your English is very fast, fluent, and you use very fancy words. But once you talk to a person who is not so fluent in English, which accounts to most of the French people, so they won't be able to understand whatever you're saying. So you
Correct.
have to reduce your speed, you have to reduce your pitch, you have to speak very slowly and use all the easy words. Your CV should not look complicated. The minimum number
Mhm,
of lines, easy to read, so that even a layman who has, maybe you can assume 10th pass, can read. So that's the kind of CV that you have to modify. So the
mhm,
transition of the CV that I have in India to
mhm,
what I had in France,
mhm.
I won't even modify CV. It looks like
Yeah,
someone 10 who has just passed their class 10, they have prepared it.
yeah.
But that works.
Yeah. So building the culture, the network, and kind of getting exposed to multiple cultures is what I hear you saying. So we'll get straight away to the next question, and I quickly want you to, because we're crunching a bit of time, but I would like you to take us through the preparation journey. Like in 2 minutes, if you can quickly tell us that what kind of preparation journey you had for the IB course, and then we will close it with my final question. This is my second last question to you. That what do you think about the preparation part of it?
I mean, preparation for CAT, right? Or the interviews in general.
Yes, yes.
So I'll tell you that in my first CAT attempt, I got 59 point some percentile. And even in the second one, I think I got 80. I was still studying in college and then first year in job, not full heartedly, but yeah, it was very demotivating for me. But due to COVID, I got some time and then appeared for CAT. I worked hard. So I think one thing that really helped was my coaching. I took uh, uh, I went to Elite's Grid, the online coaching by Hani Malhotra, and the coaching was super awesome. I finally got to know, okay, what I was missing from the past times, and then there were some seniors who advised me to actually solve previous year CAT papers and even mocks. We generally tend to ignore mocks and even the previous year CAT papers. But what I have realized over time is once you start giving those mocks, and once you actually start solving the previous year CAT papers, then you will actually get a confidence that okay, these are the questions that I have already been through, and you will start forming a pattern. And weirdly, that same person told me that okay, you have given all the CAT papers from 2015 onwards, now do it again. And when I was solving it again, I was again getting stuck in some questions. And then I was like, okay, I got the point what he was telling. At first, it sounds stupid कि एक ही paper बार बार क्यों solve करना after certain interval. But after some time, you will start noticing some pattern, and फिर चीजें click होने लगेगी. And in the day of CAT, you are super confident. I think when I left the exam, even after I did not even verify my answers because I was super chilled. I knew that this time I'm gonna crack some good percentile. And eventually I got a call from MDI, and the interview was mostly chilled out. I think about my job experience, about the place where I came from. They were talking about Mahendra Singh Dhoni because I'm from Jharkhand, Tachi, and all those usual stuff. They even asked, since I'm a civil engineer by background, they asked me two questions about civil, but I frankly told them that it's been 4.5 years and I'm completely out of touch. So I could not recall, and I don't want to try a very random guess. So they're like, okay, they moved on to next topics. But
Great strategy that you shared, Ronit. Uh, and going to my last question and the concluding question, right? We talked a lot about the courses, we talked a lot about the fees, we talked about the ROI, the international exposure, the exposure to culture. Finally, where do you think the course stands in today's context compared to courses similar to this? Because ISB also offers courses around that range. IIFT offers international exposure to some extent in the sense that they are dealing with international and foreign trade, though a little different, but kind of people tend to compare MBA IB with these two courses very closely. I've seen people do that. Where do you think it stands in today's context compared to both the courses? And would you really recommend this course to somebody? And how does somebody know that they're a fit for this course? These three things are the conclusive remarks that I would like you to take through.
so I think if you are ever planning to go outside India to experience MBA and you don't have 1 crore to actually move out to US, then this is a very good course. Then, if you want to look for jobs outside, because ESCP has a very big brand name, even the ranking, if you see in the Financial Times or any good reputed ranking, ESCP is way, way above when you talk about all the IIMs. Even I think top IIMs are not even in the top 50, and this college comes around 20s something. And even for MIM course, it's among the top three in the world. You see the kind of brand and the kind of exposure that you're getting, plus the opportunities. So if you're spending 40 lakhs and getting these much in return, I think is a very fair deal. IFT, I'm not even considering because I don't believe both of them are in the same league. ISB, if you are maybe if you just want to get into MBBs or you want to work in India, then it would be a good thing for you if you are super sure that you want to get into consulting. But if you want to get outside, if you want to experience travel Europe as well, because traveling is a big part of learning, then I would highly recommend IB course. But
Great.
yeah, you can expect a lot of uncertainty, but after 2 years, you will come out a very, very strong and confident person.
Definitely, Ranita. So I hear you saying that it is worth doing. I hear you saying that the fees is worth giving because it's a lifetime exposure. I hear you saying that yes, CP is not a matter of joke. And if you want to be there and don't pay equivalent fees that they usually charge, or if you want to do a regular MBA course there, you have to pay some 1 crore rupees and you can do it for 30 lakhs here. Why not take that chance? Why not take that leap of faith? And I also hear you saying that the exposure that you give makes you a better person at a wholesome context. You have to find jobs for yourself, you have to build networks, you see different cultures, you go outside, you stay by yourself, you do everything by yourself, and you come out as a better person, is what I hear you saying. And in the long term, this 30 lakh, 40 lakh, whatever you pay, the ROI that you get in the long term of the things, doesn't even compare with other colleges in the same league, is what I hear you saying. It's a one-time exposure, it's a
Yes,
lifetime opportunity, is what I hear you saying, Ronit. So great
yes.
interacting with you, brother. Once again, thank you for coming to our channel. I connected with him on LinkedIn. I saw one of his posts that went kind of viral. He had written about MBA IB. I wanted people to know about MBA IB because many people were also asking about MBA IB on my channel. So I wanted to bring him because he had written about MBA IB on LinkedIn. So thank you, Ronit, for accepting my request to come on board so quickly and giving your bite to the people who were really, really intrigued and interested to know. Thank you very much, brother, for coming on the
And no
channel.
problem.
Great. It was great having
It's a
you.
pleasure talking to you.
Great. Pleasure is all mine. It was great having interacted with you and getting to learn about MBA IB course. So to each its own, very, very subjective, but all the pros and cons are listed in front of you by Ronit. And if you like the content, like it, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, subscribe kar do, because we will bring more experts like Ronit on the channel who will speak about different courses, different genres, both from academia and of industry, from different segments. This is only the 15th episode. We wish to go till 150th, and if you support, maybe 1500th episode will also be up there. A long way to walk. We need your help. So thank you very much for staying connected. Thank you very much for staying subscribed to the channel. If you have not yet subscribed to the channel. We are done for today. That's it. Once again, thank you very much, Ronit, for being here. Thank you, everyone, for attending the session.